And thank you for joining early also. So today Aswini is going to talk about her 100-day art project. Long back, there was in internet, I met someone called Justin Jackson. He's 4-5 years back, he said, I'm going to do 100 things continuously. And different things, but 100 things. And then he went on to do another 100 things and so on and so forth. And it didn't strike me, why would you do 100 things? It doesn't really make any sense. When I pondered over it again and again, what I realized is, as a consumer, we are always about quality. But then if you want to bring in some kind of a practice, a skill, and we want to learn patience and so on and so forth, then we need to approach it with a quantity mindset. And as I read through it more and more, I came across an experiment somebody conducted in one of the US universities, where the teacher said, the teacher divided the students into two groups. The first group, she said, you're going to be judged by the quality of your output. And then she said them in. The other said, she didn't say anything about it. She said, how many things that you can produce, so which is like quantity, you will be judged on that. End of that session, what she found out, and then even the students found out, was people who were focused on quality, they couldn't do a lot more because they were all, oh my God, this has to be better, this has to be fantastic, and so on and so forth. So they couldn't do it. But the people who are focused on quantity, they somehow achieved a better quality than the others because they were only they were only focused on producing more and more, quantity. And over the period, because they've been iterating over the same thing again and again, the quality came in. And that's exactly what I have practiced, which is I write every week. I write almost every day. I post it on LinkedIn. So that iteration, that quantity, has brought in a lot of quality. So when Aswini shared last week that she was into this 100-day project, I wanted to ask her, would she be willing to talk about it? And then this week she was supposed to do a book review. So I called her and she said, Joseph, can I talk about it? I said, wow, that's exactly what I thought. So you read my mind. So she said, we will do it. And here we are. And Aswini, over to you. 100-day project.
Thank you, Joseph. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking your time on a Saturday evening, to listen to me. It's going to be a very sort of a very lightweight topic over here that we will discuss. But like how Joseph mentioned, even though it's something lightweight and something that we do every day, but then the repercussions that come out of it, the learnings that come out of this 100-day art project is really something that we need to sort of talk over. So that is something that we become better at. So I know we may not need an entire hour to discuss, but at least we will be able to sort of have an interactive session. So thank you again. Thanks, Joseph, for giving me this opportunity. So today's session, I have sort of thought through, like we would have it like a 3-part session. One is where I talk about my project, how I chose the project and why I chose the project and how I went about doing it. And the second part of it would be where I tell about my learnings. And the third part of it would be where I sort of go about all the tools that I had used, any tracking tool and all that, give you tips. And if you're going to be interested, some ideas and look into how that can be done. So this is how I have structured my session for the day. And I really wanted to be an interactive session. Stop me at any time and ask questions, and also share your thoughts, because there are so many things that everybody does. And this session, the whole intent of this session is that we learn from each other's projects. And so I mean, so please share your thoughts, your ideas, what you've been doing also, so as to inspire others. let me just if it says I can't share my screen. So...
Can you try it out now?
Yeah, it allows. Okay, so I'll start about. Are you able to see the?
Yes, Aswini, go ahead.
Okay. Keeping it very minimal. So how did I actually start about this? So there were two instincts or triggers for this for me when I started this project. And both were from Instagram. And one is the 100-day art project. So that is then a page which is by a person called Lindsay Jean Thomas. She's a writer, she's a community builder, and she also facilitates the Instagram page. And this whole, I mean, I went through into that page to see what people are doing, and it had to do with a lot with art and design. And her page was also very inspiring, and she gives a lot of tips on how you can do it. There are suggestions on what you can do, and there it actually sort of talks about a lot of art and design projects. But she says you don't have to confine to that. These are ideas and inspirations that you can actually take and then do your own thing for 100 days. And and there is an article which sort of inspired me in that same I will share that page. It's a Substack page she has, and wherein there is a she talks about there's an article, there's just a link to an article over there where there is this professor of design at the Yale School of Arts, and who prescribed this to his friend, to his students, that for 5 years he made his students, do 100-day art projects, and he had been, monitoring them and getting it done. Because it's a school of design, it was more about all design projects and not like any other books or writing or any of those things. But the page has a lot of ideas over there, but the main point is sort of iteration, repetition, what comes out of this design. So in that there were really fun ideas, and there was like a person who takes a photo with just random people she just meets, and she made a booklet out of it. And I mean, they were surprised, I mean, how many people are actually willing to, photograph along with you. And then there was a person who used to write, a quote every day for 100 days. And then there was another student who did a dance video, and which for 100 days. See, this apparently this person was really good in dance. So every day he did a video of himself of making different dance moves, and it hit. It's a lot of in YouTube. It became a sensation, and he was invited to a dance show, and he became very famous. And it all because of this 100-day project. Because iteratively he was able to make himself better, and it led to his publicity and actually success over there. And there was also a person who was preparing a quote a day, like every day he was writing a quote. And since was like a design thing, there were people who were actually doing posters every day. Like they will design a poster every day, keeping it very short. So that whole thing was an inspiration for me because I'd gone through it. And this was a little in 2021 when I was doing these research. And and at the same time, my friend, my schoolmate, my buddy who sat right next to me in school, so she went into in 2021, she went into an 100-day sari project. So she loves saris. A lot of women do, and and she loved draping saris, and she took a challenge for herself that she would wear 100 saris a year. And I really loved what she had done in her Instagram page. So that's my second instinct, that trigger that I had in Instagram. So every time she wears a sari, so she'll post a picture, and she writes about it. She really like blogs about it, like her thoughts behind it, where she got the sari from. Like there is a history. Like if there's a family, she says like, so this was a fun event I had, and no, not so good event over there, and like, so I really like that she the routine and the the fun part of it also over there, but then she taking the efforts to do that. So that was also inspiration number 2. Now with these two, and I knew I cannot drape sari for 100 days in a year. I mean, I'd love to, but I don't have the luxury of time. But I did think, okay, that is one, maybe I set my target less. So for 2022, I set a target of wearing a sari once a month. So I met that target. And and you may think that just draping a sari is wearing a sari, like making my, just presenting yourself in a better, maybe it sounds very mundane or very small, but for each their own, like, so I remember this conversation that I had in office. So wherein was a really bad day. The previous day was a really bad day. I was really in a fall mode. So what I just did was take effort just to, take my head off that. I just draped myself in a sari and I went looking very well. And like this person was like, a manager next to me is like, why did you wear a sari today? I mean, like he sort of like really was very curious. It is not an ethnic day. It is not any function or anything, and not your birthday. And why? Then I actually told him like, see, the reason why I'm wearing a sari was yesterday was a really bad day. I just wanted to take some time off for myself to feel good. So he said, okay, so that's your beer. So okay, so he says like, if I was having a bad day, I would just go have a beer and chill out. Sort of actually related to me. I mean, I felt, okay, yeah, maybe that's my beer. I mean, like, that's how I'm going to get away from a bad day. And just taking that extra 15 to 30 minutes, I mean, for people, for women folk who know that to get ready, draping a sari is going to take some time. So that's extra 15-30 minutes on your hectic schedule. So that sort of, that's my, like, get out of misery day. So, but I could not do 100-day like how my friend had done. But I did. I wanted to do once a month, but I sort of beat my target. I did, I think, 15 to 16 days. And when tracking, and when I'm tracking that numbers, right? So again, I'm gonna sort of take away the sari draping part or like feeling good part. But when you're looking at numbers and when you're looking at that, it's motivation. I'm like, okay, I can do. While I can do this, I can do this something like this in office. I can become better in other things. So that motivation sort of it stuck to me. And the second thing that I had also done was a Wordle. And this is not a 100-day project, but this, I think Wordle came in 2021 or in 2022. And so the Wordle is a daily word game, comes out in the New York Times link. And there are a lot of apps also for this. But since it came, I've tried to do it. And then I every day I've been doing it since then. And then one of the things that I learned was that sometimes I feel bad if I lose my streak. Sometimes on a weekend, I'm not able to, I mean, typically that streak is maintained if it's from the same IP. And I mean, at least that's how I think. And if you don't sign in. And what I did was I just said, okay, it's okay. Let me just do it on a weekday. And I've been doing it since. Sometimes I just let go of it if I don't. And the thing that about the Wordle and it's actually tickles your brain. It's the easy version is there. The hard setting is also there. I recently moved to the hard setting. I didn't want to really boggle my brain sometimes. But then I launched the Wordle every day. I mean, default when a browser opens, the Wordle opens for me, and it is a family event. So this is something I would prescribe for people who want to spend time with your kids. And so this is like on my monitor. Sometimes when I just open Wordle, and my son would like he'll come pop in and he'll like, okay, you're doing your Wordle. Or sometimes he comes and asks me like, oh, okay, you've not done your Wordle for a day. Let me do it. And we would do it together. And so 5 days a day, that's like a moment that you can actually spend with your kid. And sometimes my husband will also jump in when we are stuck, and if times when I actually do it alone also, wherein what happens is like I'd be like the middle of something and I need to think different, and because I'm not able to handle that problem. I'm not able to find a solution to that problem. So I would just go to my Wordle, spend 2 to 3 minutes in that. I don't have to find an answer for that. I don't have to complete my riddle for that day, but I would just do like 2 steps and then leave it there. But I feel fresh. I feel a little more positive and then like energized to go into this. So these are a couple of things that I done. Now I'll go on to my 100-day project. So that is the kolam or rangoli. So kolam is actually a Tamil word. So and it means something that it's a design. So I think rangoli is something that everybody will be able to relate to. Even though rangoli is sort of colors, but I just stuck to 2 colors. I mean, which is just white and the brown, that araku that I had done, and white columns. And so because the thing is like I learned to draw a column or a rangoli while I was in my 5th standard. And then over the years, over the last 3 decades, I've just picked like 10 to 15 designs. That's the only thing which is stuck in my mind. I never and then if there is any function, I'll just Google a new one and I will actually just find out like oh, okay, this design. So nothing, I never learned anything new over there, nothing, this one. And this I felt is something small. So when the 100-day project sort of prescribes, keeps everything, keep small things that you can actually repeat and do it. So then I thought, okay, let me try this one and let me become better at it. And at the end of the 100-day project, can I call myself better in drawing a rangoli? Maybe yes. But at least the learning that I've had with that 100-day project, the discipline that sort of comes with it, is something that a lesson that I will take through. And so going back, what a kolam is. So in Tamil Nadu, there is a tradition. So long back, it sort of has like, it's more an artistic, an ornamental and a religious reason. So it's typically drawn with rice flour. And so that it's like, what to say, charity. So it's actually begins there. It's actually encourages charity there, because when you draw it with the rice flour, animals come and eat it. And the squirrel would come, or the birds would peck over in the rice floor and do it. So that's how the tradition started. But I live in an apartment, and I don't have these things coming in at that time. I mean, we don't have, even the pigeon is considered a menace over here. But then we sort of do it, and like it's done in the start of the day. For us, for the Hindus, it's like welcoming the goddess Lakshmi into our home. So that is done, and this is like typically we if I mean, like earlier, I mean, there is a month in the Tamil calendar, which is between December 15 to Jan 15, wherein that is the month where it's the winter season. And when the women folk, actually, like for the women folk actually do the rangolis, and outside, the climate at that point of time is actually good for your health, and not too cold for the day. And the men actually, they were like, they used to sing bhajans and they go around. Today, a lot of these have gone out. Small traditions that we sort of tried to cling on to. And so this is kolam for you. And then how did I keep track of it? Our Google Photos was a very well way of keeping a track of it. So I created a folder which said 100 new column. And as every time I added, I knew, okay, well, I was able to keep a track of this number over there. Okay, I met 25, I met 50. So that was something there. And how I prep for this, it may sound like, okay, it's just a rangoli, but then I wanted to do 100 different designs that I wanted to try. So again, Instagram was there, and there was Pinterest I looked into, just and like I had to look into, because I live in an apartment, the space is very confined. So I knew my limitations, that this is how much I can do. I can't go behind this. I can't draw really big ones. And also a time, because this is something that we do at the beginning of the a day. I have to get my son prep to school. And so that I knew I have only 10 minutes for this activity, 10 to 12 minutes for this activity. So I knew my limitations, and then I prepped for this. So I will typically I just can't see something and I cannot draw it. So what I would do the previous night, or I prep it for a week, and I will choose like five designs for that particular week, and I keep it ready. Google Keep was my buddy there, and I just had those pictures like just saved over there. And the previous night, I would like sort of practice it, like, okay, let me try this out before I put it over there. So this is all about my project. Like one of the statements in those in that was like, why this is an inspiration. This sort of brings the discipline in our lives, and sort of also leads to a lot of creativity. And I believe a lot of writers also do this, and that's how they become better at it. Okay, so I've been like talking continuously. I want to sort of, before I segue into the next section, people want to share something, any questions?
Ashwini, can you unshare this so that people all can come in now? The presentation is on the focus. Okay. Yeah. Anyone wants to have any comments? Satya, you want to say something? For me, Ashwini, for me, two things that I picked it up. I mean, the quote itself, it's kind of a dance of the creativity and the discipline. A lot of times we think, and this is what over the period I have also learned, is that we look at certain kind of a creative people, A.R. Rahman, Stephen King, all of these guys, and then oh my God, they are very, very creative. And when you go and unpack how they are creating, Stephen King says, no matter what, every day morning 9 o'clock, I sit down to write. Creativity comes as a part of the discipline. So it's kind of a dance between the discipline and the creativity. So that's one thing that I liked in the thing that you talked about. The second thing that you said is also you kind of prepared with the Google Keep for the 5 days. You kind of, at least there's some things that you prepared. So that was a good one. Anyone has any comments? Satya? Sukhwinder, anyone?
I think that it's something like it helps us to understand what we need to do. Like this, probably it's more like an exercise that we are doing. But looking at this also, before even going into something professional, I feel is something we are kind of exercising our mind to understand what we really want to do, and then you do it. You create the flow and just guide that flow into the right direction, and probably this will help us in personal and professional life. Just thinking about that right now, and it kind of makes sense. For example, how she's saying that 100 days of doing something like that, we have got some activities that we do, like 100 days of short running, or 100 days of doing something different, which is not related to anything personal or professional, and it helps us to recover from something else.
Yeah, recover from something.
To me, sir, to me, it also means that if you had a bad day a previous day, the next day, if you do something creative, or even at that point of time, you do something different and you get out of that bad mood. So this is a wonderful tip for all of us.
Absolutely. Happiness, Guruji. Absolutely.
We actually missed you last time, Coronaji. Last week.
Sir, I also missed you all. That was a very important session, but we had guests at home and I couldn't escape them. So
thank you. It's okay.
Yeah.
Actually, the other one, I knew about the religious, the tradition behind kolam, but over a long period of time, kolam has been made everywhere and every season. I mean, not just during that particular Margali season, every season. I kind of didn't connect. In my mind, that connection has been gone. Thanks for reminding that. And also, one thing that I didn't notice, I know the women folks putting that particular column and the religious connection plus that birds and the other things, I mean, the philanthropic thing. But what didn't I connect is the men folk also sing bhajans and everything, we don't see that. I mean, it's only the women folk putting that thing. So thanks for reminding that. It's good. Yakitin.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a great day and had a great week. Yeah, so I think for me, I haven't done anything like this, but I think definitely I'm going to try this 100 days project now. And just like Ashwin said, I think there is a huge potential. It could be implemented at the work. Maybe if I want to learn a new programming language or want to learn a new technology, or maybe I want to get into, learning anything, like maybe even about writing codes. I like that a lot. That idea is great. In fact, uh, probably, writing small blogs or something like that. So it's an excellent way of learning new thing, and it doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be, let's say, where I have to dedicate 2-3 hours a day. It could be maybe even a 15-minute thing, even exercise that, let's say, if we are not. I think it's amazing, and I'm glad that JJ, you dropped me that message, because I tend to snooze my notification or DND my phone a lot. So thank you for that. I'm attending here. I think this is an excellent way of learning new things, and not just for us. Even spending time with family. Even if we do that for 100 days, and kind of turns into an habit.
Good. Thanks, Ashwini. I know Ashwini has the next slide as lessons, so I'm holding on to adding few more things, but I'm going to wait for Ashwini to take it up. But Hitin, as you said, one of the things that Ashwini mentioned is also, it doesn't have to be hard, or it doesn't have to take too much time. Do it small. I don't know how much time on an average that Ashwini took for this column in general. But the point that he mentioned, it shouldn't be actually a long time. Otherwise, we will kind of, get bored after a certain while. Yes, Xavier.
Sorry. I've not done 100 days, but I've done 30 days kind of thing, sketching for 30 days, writing 100 or 150 words for 30 days. Wordle, I also tried it. I stopped it once I reached 100. So once it is 100 days, I stopped doing it. But yeah, there are a lot of things that maybe I should continue or triple that 30 days into 90 to 100. That's something that I kind of look forward to.
Yeah. And that's the power of community, right? I mean, one thing that I wanted to say at the end is also, if Hitin, Xavier, if you all start anything, I mean, it could be, Apu, maybe you are, jogging for 100 days. Maybe Xavier writing a quote for 100 days. And Hitin, maybe writing something for 100 days. Whatever it is, maybe you can all share it in the community group that we have. And then we can kind of, it'll be motivating for each other. So it'll be good.
One more thing I wanted to add is that in Punjab we are taught to spend 1/10 of our income or 1/10 of our profit for charity. It is in a way we are taught that it is GST. You are only the collector, you are only the trustee, and you need to spend it on community welfare. This is how the gurdwaras run in Punjab. So by knowing the tradition behind column, it is a new lesson for all of us, and this is really very wonderful. We can add these things also into our routine. Thank you very much.
Very true, very true. See, one thing that Ashwini, from what I'm taking is also, and this is why I love going into these traditions and the ancient books and the literatures and whatever, the rituals and everything, is that they have kind of added a discipline. So if somebody comes and says, it could be your father, my father, or grandfather comes and say, okay, you need to do this every day, we'll be like, pa. And then we will just ignore it. But they have added a religious touch to this. a philanthropic touch to this, and everything is bundled into one simple exercise, and that's just amazing. That's why I always in awe of all of this, kind of traditions. Yes, Ketan, the final one, and then we'll give it back to Aswini. Yeah, Ketan.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, like what you said, it will be always great to share it, even if it's a small thing. It will be great. I just wanted to share that I didn't do a 100 days continuous thing, but it took me almost 3 years before I could do my 15-kilometer run. So it was a gradual process. But it wasn't 100 days, but I made an effort to do at least 2 to 3 kilometers run every week for a couple of 6 months. And then it took me about 3 years to reach to a stage where I could run 15 kilometers without stopping. So I think if we can do that, we can do anything else also. Yeah,
absolutely. I have done quite a bit of things like this. I've done 1 year of coding, except on Sundays, 1 year of coding, making 100 visuals, 100 days of writing, so on and so forth. And that's the way you bring in discipline. Again, I didn't want to touch upon it because I want to hear Aswini's lessons, but that's the way, you kind of grow. Yeah, Aswini, back to you. Next slide.
So one of those things that I actually wanted to share on, from a reading perspective and how I keep myself is I keep my book right next to me on my desktop. I carry it with me towards in my bag to office. Whenever I'm able to get some time, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I sort of provide that. And this is mainly for my self-improvement books. So that's something that I keep next to me. And so that just when you were able to, find time, you were able to do at least 5 to 6 minutes of reading, that is something that, again, since we are sharing and how we do it, I just thought I would share that. So just moving on now is my learnings. So, and actually, I should thank Joseph for this opportunity, because one thing I wanted to do was that I wanted to, like how my friend had done, right? Where she was blogging about every day, there are a lot of emotions behind this activity, a lot of learning, a lot of, nitty-gritty coming out of this 10-15 minutes that we have spent on that day project. But unfortunately, I could not blog it every day. And I wanted to write it. Okay, let me finish. I finished the project. I wanted to sort of document these learnings for my future. So then I when this whole thing came up last week, and I thanked Joseph. Joseph, I'll do this because this is also going to give me an opportunity to document this entire thing. So the whole thing is first setting my expectations. So this talks about the whole 100-day project is doing it every day. Sometimes my mornings are hectic. Sometimes, I tend to not do this activity. So I said, it's okay. I want to reach that number 100. I don't have to do it on consecutive days. So that is where I set that expectation to myself, saying that it's okay if I don't do it every day. So this is typically a task that this is religious reasons or something that my mom tells is before anybody leaves the home, that's when you should do this whole rangoli thing. So sometimes if I get up late and then my son goes to school, I'm not able to do it, so I will not do it. It's okay, so there are restrictions there. So but I said, okay, it's okay, that sort of attitude. I didn't put it pressure on myself. It is only when I came towards the last, I was at, in fact, my last column was on December 31st. Because I had given myself a break now and then, and there was times I didn't do it. But then my son was there behind me. Amma, you didn't make it. Are you going to make your number 100? But sometimes he'll be behind me and saying, Amma, let's make it, ma. So I kept myself motivated. I had been telling my husband and my son about my number. And so they were curious whether I'm meeting my number 100. My son sort of inspired me. My husband was at the behind, just sort of looking, okay, will this girl make it? And he sort of corrected me, saying that, he said, you're trying out new columns. You're not learning 100 columns. When I was halfway through the mark, and that was that word, right? When he said trying out and learning, sort of struck some on my mind. Oh, why? Oh, yeah, because it's just that he said, you're seeing something and you're just putting it over there. You're replicating it. Are you actually learning from that? That stuck to my mind that, and then I started learning patterns. Like thanks to that statement, which at that time sounded pessimistic, but sort of inspired me to learn. Okay, let me learn. I mean, like you said, I'm just copying something, right? But I should be learning out of this one. So that one I sort of realized like what my limitations were. So like, and it's like sort of understanding my limitations and what I can actually become better at. So like this picture over here is one of my good days. This is one of really like when I did not prep for it the previous day, I wouldn't have drawn it. And this was like one of those really worst days. And this was like, again, one of my good days. So I was able to identify patterns like, okay, what affected my output? Was it my mood swings? Because I did not prep the previous day, like how it affected my output. So I was able to identify this pattern. And thanks to this in today's session, I was able to document that also. And staying motivated, whenever I reached a milestone, I published it in WhatsApp. I'm not an Insta person. I keep it to my WhatsApp status message, just to my group of people. And so number 25, number 50, number 100, people who did not know what a column is were asking me, what is this? I'd seen people documenting this, and like they were interested in doing this. And like, and then I had my cousin sister who's also very passionate, and she's too good with columns, like, and she's really good at it. But she was like, Kriti, share those pics to me every day. I also want to do it. And we were sharing things. Again, that's again like family time. We were very unconsciously talking more than usual, wherein it was always like a once a month communication. But then we were like sharing pictures and we were communicating more. So that is there. And I got feedback from my friends also whenever when I had posted it, So that was one of those things. And then focus on one thing. And that's something I actually learned. So if you see in this Rangoli, like what I was trying beginning was, there were this border things that I was trying to learn new. There was this like border Rangolis, that's what they call if you Google them. So what you draw in the corners, so there are different designs for that. And then what you draw in the center is a completely different one. So then what actually, I thought I was spending my time on learning too many things at the same time. So I said, okay, let me not do borders. Let me only concentrate on getting my middle column or Rangoli right. And that's when I sort of steered and I focused on one item, and that is there. And then like, so that sort of made me learn what I'm good at also. And there are you can have freehand drawing, which I knew I am not good at. I wanted to stick to the dots and then connecting those dots. There are also different patterns in those things, and I knew what I'm good at and what I'm not good at, and I sort of eliminated that part of it where the difficult ones they're called chiku columns, wherein it's intrinsic patterns and so I sort of left that. I thought, okay, connecting the dots and making it simple was my what I'm good at, so I just kept that. And then the joy and sense of accomplishment. So this is first thing I do in the morning. So at my son leaves home at 7:10. So I get this activity is typically done somewhere between 6:50 to 7:10, and it's such a boost right in the morning that I've learned something. I've like it's a real boost. And this is tiny learnings, tiny habits at action over here. So this is like, again, an inspiration from the book, and real big believer in atomic habits and tiny habits. So it's that kick at the day. I have accomplished something. It gives, I give a pat to myself, like I've done something good for the day, and I'm starting my day at the right note. So that is what I have, like, it's sort of my sense of accomplishment that I've done. The numbers, the 100 was really like awesome. And I was like, it was like a race to the finish. I wasn't sure whether I'd make it. Then, but I did do it. And then what I could have done better. So one of those things that I actually could have done better was like actually taken better photograph. Sometimes, but this is like focus on one thing. It's sort of related to focus on one thing. Because in the early time, the beginning, I was trying to take pictures from different angles. Okay, take it from that side. And then I was really concentrating on whether the photograph looked good or not. I thought, okay, why am I doing this? Like, so that was on the focus on the one thing part I took. But when I look back at my photograph today, at like, oh, I think I should have done this one. So like, I felt like I should have taken better photographs of that. And then another thing is that the documenting part. Now, next time when I'm going to do a 100-day project, I will take some time to document, like, even if I'm not able to do it every day, maybe do it every week. At least that's something that I plan to do it. This is one of those things I feel I could have always done better. Okay, so this is the time I'm going to sort of take a break. Let's sort of, if you guys have any questions.
Even I wanted to ask, Aswini, there are no columns here.
I didn't get it.
I didn't see the 100 column photos. I mean, there are no 100 columns in the thing. Now I understand. Okay. Now I understand that you didn't take much photos. It would have been nice to have it. Yeah, the documenting, maybe you can do it better. Anyone, Satya, do you have any comments, question? Anyone? I mean, Pradeep, anyone?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. It's not a comment also, it's a learning from Aswini's lessons. And the learning is that when you get onto a hobby kind of a thing, you make a project out of your hobby, or you create something new and you start documenting it. Maybe when you document it and share it with your community, she says the communication got longer. They spent more time talking about that hobby, and this is how they connected better. This is how we can create bonds among ourselves. This is a very great learning.
Absolutely, very true, very true. Yes, it's a great way of bonding. And then so in journalism and in that they have this particular saying, right? I mean, a lot of people want to write. When I was getting into this writing, my mentor told me, either you live a life which is worth writing, or you write about somebody who lived a life worth writing about, right? So when you do these kinds of projects and when you share, I mean, that's when people congregate around you. Oh, Aswini, okay, next time when are you going to do it? Okay, let's challenge each other. Can you share from where you got these columns? All of those kinds of discussions can happen around. So yes, very true. And what I also realized is you had your husband and your son as accountability partners to keep you on the track and to kind of motivate you as well. So which was good. Yeah, I think.
So what I observed is from what Aswini shared, that when she was trying to document and she took pictures, and then she was like, I could take better pictures of I could change the angle and things like that. So what I think is, documentation can also help us in identifying that next project as well. This is what I just hit my mind that, maybe the next project for Aswini could be, okay, she's already now learning columns and she probably is great at doing it, but now she has identified that little bit that, okay, I could be somebody who's better at photography. And when she's taking those photographs, she would be taking those photographs of probably other things. Like I remember JJ is doing something like this with his son. And and when you're doing those things, you're involving yourself in those 100 days, you probably end up hitting another thing which could be your next project. So it will eventually turn into a chain of things or chain of events that will always keep you looped in learning something new. So I am definitely now thinking of so many projects that I could do, but I need to choose one and get started with. So I'm really excited to start with this project.
Don't worry, Hitin. I'll keep you on that particular thing, and then maybe after 100 days, one of these Saturdays, you can share, and what you did. All of us can
forward to it.
Kind of share.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, JJ.
Yeah, And yeah, like actually one of the thing about the documentation, yes, like now if you would have documented, it would have been nice to speak and it would have been a good history and everything. But I like the point that you said, focus on one thing. If you're going to focus more on the documentation, probably like, maybe you missed out on the main thing that you wanted to do. So that's a good point. Maybe you can improve upon that. Now that you understood it, maybe in the next project that you take up, probably you will do it. The other point that I wanted to ask, and then, this part I've been thinking, when you said the first point that you said is that it doesn't have to be 100 consecutive days. It could be 100 columns. That's all I need to do. It could be 200 days that I have done that. It's okay, right? Many a times I've been told, I've read, how you do one thing is how you do everything. Which means, like, the intensity that you bring in, the quality that you bring in anything is how you do everything, kind of a thing, right? But then now listening to you, I'm starting to question that, because if you're doing something for fun, something for quantity, something for enjoyment, something as a kind of a distraction from your thing, probably you don't have to bring that particular intensity. But then are you doing that? So I would like to hear, do you have any opinions on this or thoughts on this? Because I also know, your professional things and you are very committed in this. So I also want to know whether you have any comments on that.
Sir, I would like to remind you of your own cohort session when you said mimic the master. It means go for the quantity first when you start, and then think about quality. So that's the lesson in this kind of activity also.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Ash.
So this was the first time I was actually doing a 100-day project. So I wanted to bring the rhythm. I wanted to set a target, but my target was there. Like I wanted to do it within 2022. So that was my target for 2022. But for me, like sometimes, like when I sort of beat myself up and I'm not able to achieve my target. So that's when I said, okay, that's when I set my expectation. It's not 100, but the project as such is 100 consecutive days, because that's when, like the tiny habits, you keep building on it. And so that's the, that's how the whole 100-day project is. But then I tweaked it for my own needs. I still felt that I'm doing something substantial, but I didn't want to beat myself. So that's where I sort of set the target, and I didn't want to do it for consecutive days. So that does that answer your question, Joseph?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm moving on to the next part of the segment. Next segment is wherein so I spoke about all the projects that I have done and how I did it. So sort of I will share this also. So like how you can actually do it. So we are a community, and we can also do a project together. So we already have a WhatsApp group, and we can actually start something new, do it as a group. So that is there. And so if you're thinking about starting something, like you don't have to really jump in immediately, like take some time to so the subscribed amount in that particular was, it says 4 whole weeks, and it said give yourself 4 whole weeks to get ready for your project. And so like you first want to see what would it be like, what do you want to spend more time doing this year, what do you want to become better at, what are you excited about late this one, what do you want to become learn, what do you want to improve. So document some ideas and like set those targets. So give yourself a lot of time thinking, pondering over things that you can do before you select that project for that. I would share the links like about these this Substack link where that they talk about all this 100-day project. And then different ideas are also there, and there is a tracker also which is present there, where it's sort of like has like a milestone. It talks about like the whole like, oh, you are at number 1. You can take a printout of it, and you can keep it in your in your desk, and you can keep ticking over there. So that's like sort of a visual this one. For me, my Google Photos, where I could see the number every day increasing in that particular folder, which said 1 item, 25 items, 30, 35, which sort of was like kept track of it, also was motivating. So always have a tracker so that you can, keep track of your activities, multiple ideas. And even as we speak this session, we've been hearing multiple other ideas coming in, and do something for yourself, do a lot of learning ideas if you have, but keep it short so that it's just that the whole thing is about spending not more than 30 minutes. So 15 is an ideal, so that you can do and like just a small sketch or something like that, or write 2 lines, something like that. So you can keep it small is one of the key things, so that you can repeat it and then you become better at it. And then I have goals for this year that I've set. A 48-day diet with my accountability partner, Padma. So like we have just started that last week. We are not doing good. Both of us are actually not doing good, because we not felt, but then we've been motivating ourselves. So that is there. And I want to wear a sari twice a month. Again, that's like my feel good and thing that I've been doing for myself. And 4 self-improvement books. I know it's not a big number, but I love books. I read a lot of fiction. But to get into the self-improvement books, and somehow I start and I don't do it. And but then I said, okay, let me set my target and let me see if I'm able to do it, a book a quarter. And then I want to do more. I mean, like so this is a target for myself. And then I want to make a new dish every week. This is something that I'm not a great cook. I'm not a bad cook. So but we love all cuisines. My family, we call ourselves foodies. And so we want to try new things. So every week, so 50, I sort of thinking setting up a number there, but then I thought, okay, 52 weeks. So 50 is a fair number to do. How I met my target for this month, sort of. I did 2 dishes, and then I inspired my son and my mom to try 2 new dishes. So I would cheat and I'd call that number 4 for myself. And I would want to continue with my Wordle every day. I've recently moved to the hard mode, so which sort of a different flavor of the same game. So I would continue to do that. So this is all I had for today's session. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you, Joseph, for giving me this opportunity. I hope I've inspired and people to start something new. Again, I would want to invite people, give some suggestions, and as a community, maybe we can sort of think doing something new together. That's something maybe we should try.
First of all, lovely. Thank you so much, Aswini, for inspiring. And Hitin has committed publicly on this particular forum. So we are all going to keep Hitin on track. You have inspired me. Like, I mean, I'm thinking about few things. One of the thing is pre-COVID, I said every week I'm going to meet one person and have lunch or dinner together with them. Like, I mean, if it is possible, obviously an acquaintance, somehow I know them, but I'm going to have 50 lunches and everything. And this year I told Hitin, and he was afraid and he ran away to his hometown. So when he's back, I'm going to do that. But I have few points, probably like, I mean, we will do it. But we are all, Aswini is not invited, but on this forum, I'm inviting everybody. She is going to try new dishes. All of us can go to her house. We can try tasting her dishes. Thank you, Aswini. Anyone has any points, any comments?
Yes, please. I would like to share one more learning that I had from this session. It is when Aswini's husband made a comment, she paused and she got motivated instead of getting depressed. So this is a great learning, keeping your critics near and then getting motivation out of those comments, not getting depressed.
Thank you, Kuranaji. Yeah,
I will just add to what Kuranaji said. I think, this could be another kind of 100 days project where we listen to people, whatever they say, positive or negative, or mostly track something that is negative, and then try to see what positivity we can take from that, because almost everything that people say to us has both negative and positive to it. But just because people say and it doesn't really resonate with our thought process, we kind of take it in a negative sense. So that could be another project where we take things, and instead of, and especially the criticism that we don't resonate with, maybe try to identify positivity in that. And as a result, we tend to absorb everything that comes at us or that is thrown at us, and we absorb only the positivity out of that. This could be another project. So thank you for sharing this, because this has kind of opened a euphoria in front of me where I don't know what I'm going to do, but there are, I mean, it's kind of, it's an infinite thing now that in 100 days you could just do anything that you want, and it can just go on, and there are so many things. So thank you very much. I really like to be part of this group, and I'm glad JJ did that, and I'm glad that I took that step also. So thank you very much. Thank you, Aswini, for sharing this amazing experience.
Thank you, Hiten. Sukhvinder, or anyone, I mean, Apu, Selvakumar, you joined. Thank you very much. Satya, do you have any points? I mean, 100-day visuals, 100-day low code, no code. Okay. I think we have to start 100 days of talking.
Yeah, I second that.
Yeah. Lovely. Yeah, Sukhvinder, you want to share something? And we'll finish.
I think I too will start with something new, and I'll be sharing it in the group. So looking forward. Thanks a lot, Aswini. It was great. Yeah.
Fantastic. Good. Yeah, I think when like, I mean, as Aswini is sharing, maybe like Aswini, whatever that you are doing, whether it is the dishes that you are doing or the other aspects that you are doing, keep sharing on the group, whatever that you think can be shared, keep sharing on the group, even if it is not daily, maybe once in a while, right? I mean, then that kind of will inspire. And Sukhvinder, if you can do that, and Hiten, if you can do that and say, okay, this is what I'm starting, probably it'll help each other also. I'll tell you what I've been thinking. One, at least for myself, I'm thinking of that meeting 50 people, restarting it now that, I mean, the things are all opened up and now I can meet people. So probably like, I mean, Corona Ji, Sukhvinder, I can meet. And that's one thing that I've been thinking. Second, writing on LinkedIn, which I'm doing almost on an everyday basis, except for Sundays. So that's something that I've been doing. The other one is I'm into stock market investing. So I was also thinking maybe 100 companies I can analyze. It doesn't have to be 100 consecutive days. I mean, obviously you can't do that, but 100 days, 100 companies I can analyze and then put it out. I can publish it on my blog, right? So things like that. I mean, as Hiten said, there are a lot of stuff that you can do. It's just that like now you need to pick it up and then do it. I'm very glad all of you for joining in, and it has been a very inspirational session. Other sessions are very educational sessions. This is a lot more, this is educational plus inspirational session, and I'm glad that Aswini brought that in, and that is why part of being a group always helps. So Aswini, good luck for everything that you're going to do this year. Looking forward to whatever that you're going to do, and everyone else, have a fantastic 2023. Any of you can come. Maybe I'm going to stop the stream.